Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another one of our sessions with our Virtual Tech Expo Week. We are excited that this just gets better and better with such great people, great vendors, and a few things I want to, before we get started, to remind everybody about. We have our global symposium in Prague coming up in October 5th to the 7th. Then we have our conference week next year in 2026 at the Win again. This year, I'll correct the dates. I believe it's the 2nd through the 4th, 3 solid days. And we hope to see everybody there. I wanted to get that out of the way first since I have everybody's attention. So, with that being said, I want to introduce to you today one of our Solutions Group partners, James Wong from MAXA Design. Happy to have you here. And of course, the wonderful, talented, amazing Lauren Henss from First Team. They are going to share with you the experience that both of them have had with James's platform and designs and his tools to help Lauren and her brokerage just even more amazing than they are. So I'll let you guys take it away from here, and I'll be back toward the end of your session. All the best.
Thanks, Jim. Welcome, everyone. I'm super excited to have Lauren Henns on this call today because if you guys don't know, I work with, 200 plus brokerages and brands and their marketing departments to help them create the perfect marketing center and design studio for their agents. And during that time, there's about 60 of the leading RE partner affiliates that I get to work with. And when I got to start working with Lauren and Michelle, the CEO, and her whole entire marketing team, I saw that they were doing a lot of really unique things within the marketing department world that I just wanted to highlight and share with everyone else in the leading RE community and all these marketing directors. And so let's just kick it off with some of the really big recognitions that Lauren and First Team has gotten this past year, just to get an idea of what you guys are doing and some highlights that you guys, some awards and some recognition you guys have gotten.
Yeah, so a little bit of things like so far we have some other things in the works right now, but in terms of we were honored by HousingWire for being one of the marketers of the year for 2025.
Let's
We
go.
were we were also woohoo, we were also honoring the four of us who are the women transforming leadership, which is obviously Michelle, myself, Anna Bennett, and Hila Pooley, as one of the kick-ass women of Orange County who are really paving the way in real estate and reinvention. So we got those as well. And then just the ability to be on, podcast and different educational opportunities for all of us, which has been tremendous. Yeah.
Wow. And from day one, when I came to your office and you
Yeah.
guys shared with me your vision, you guys were just randomly telling me different campaigns and different initiatives you guys were doing for your agents. And in my head, I was like spinning because I was like, wow, I really never hear these things being done for
Yeah.
the agent. And so let's kind of hear, and I want to get more detailed. So, because, we have everyone listening in, they want to know about ideas. They want to come up with their own ideas by mixing what they're learning from other brokerages, other marketing teams. What are the top three campaigns or marketing services that you're providing the agents right now?
Well, I think it's a couple of things, right? So like right now in terms of what we have with you, and we'll dive a little deeper, but we just launched our Behind the Agent campaign, right? And the Behind the Agent campaign is unique because at First Team we're all about building career paths, and you hear me saying this a lot where we meet agents where they're at. So whether if it's a brand new licensee or it is a agent who is looking towards leader ownership, excuse me, and wants to have a sellable asset at the end of the day, we do that, right? So the Behind the Agent campaign is different in terms of for our agents who want to recruit and also for us that want to recruit. We utilized, instead of going out and using a figurehead or a celebrity, we used our own agents at different levels of our careers as basically our ambassadors. And it just launched on Friday, as our ambassadors and focused on them on how we've built their meaningful careers and what we can do for other agents. So in terms of social assets, different types of videos, we built an entire video and content webinar library. We did nothing but like webinars on the best way to build teams, the best way to build impact. So I think it's been really, really fascinating and it's on its first leg, and that's great. So we truly are behind the agent. And I think what it allows us to do and what I've had the ability to do is because we're independently held, right? And because we're made by realtors for realtors, unlike larger brokerages, I can pivot on a dime with campaigns. So like I don't need investor buy-in, I don't need that. So if something's not working, I truly believe in going MVP, minimum viable product, listening to the agents and see what's working. So we have that campaign that launched, obviously. We also had the Women Redefining Real Estate,
Well,
Powerful Women
for a
Redefining.
second, Lauren,
Yeah,
I just wanted to tell everyone listening, you guys should go to the first team Instagram and
yeah,
see that Lauren's team and has branded an actual campaign called Behind the Agent, where
yeah,
they actually showcase what they're doing to highlight their agents and telling stories about their agents and the success they're having with First Team. And Behind the Agent is a brand campaign within
correct.
First Team's overall brand strategy, which is something really sophisticated that I don't see happening a lot within marketing departments. That's what's interesting because a lot of times I see marketing teams and brokerages providing services for their agents, but they're not turning it into an actual asset for recruiting like what First Team did. They actually branded behind the agent. They made it a thing, and then now it's like one of the things that agents get when joining the brokerage. And I thought that was really neat. You guys should check out how they did that and how they're
Yeah.
telling their story and using video assets, graphics, and everything to build that brand.
Mhm.
Because part of brand building is all the activations that your team is doing on behalf of the brokerage. It's campaigns, it's the design, it's the visual architecture, it's your office design, it's your website, it's all kinds of things. The more, let's call them, things you can create as assets for the brand, the stronger the brand gets, the more attractive the brand gets, which leads to easier recruiting, easier conversions. And Lauren's giving us one example of a lot of things she's doing for the agents, like Behind the Agent, to build the attractiveness of the First Team brokerage brand. So I just wanted to highlight that because it's very, very cool how you guys are doing that, and I don't see it very often.
Yeah, and one thing that was really cool, James, about Behind the Agent is because we went out of home digital, so we took over like an airport, right? Like John Wayne Airport and all the screens, 47 different digital screens across the entire, every single gate that we had, and ran not only agent ads for them, right, and their brand, but also for the company as well, and did that entire takeover. So we are doing true integrated marketing and advertising. So that's fun.
So cool. And we're gonna keep going into some more things that Lauren's doing too, because like even last year you guys had an incredible campaign. Let's hear about that.
So last year, prior to Behind the Agent, was our Women Redefining Real Estate campaign, right? And the one about that is obviously there is over 63% of agents are female, right? And but only 27% are in any type of leadership position whatsoever. That doesn't basically mean like executive, it can mean team lead or whatever. And what we wanted to do is really empower our women. And when I was brought on with Michelle, Gila, and Anna, our goal was, $1 billion, in new recruitment revenue, in addition to an additional $1 billion in new market share. And what we realized is no women in the history, you have women that are female that are obviously in charge of leadership, but not for who are in charge of a goal like that, right? In terms of business impact. And we hit the goal, and we're very, very passionate for, building career paths for, females in leadership and also, agents, all agents in terms of that. So it's been a great platform for us to be able to do that.
And you guys are local to me in Southern California, and I think I remember driving through like the 405 and seeing a really big highway
Yeah.
sign that had a first team banner that said like women in leadership, or what it was, like women's like empowerment at first team, and it was a real campaign you guys did around just the women at your guys' company. um, so did you guys, what was it called? I think I saw it as a
So
banner.
it's women redefining real estate. So it's basically womenoffirstteam.com. But it's, yeah, it's a great initiative, great people, and had the ability to really highlight some of our female agents who are making an impact. So again, it all goes back to our agents. Everything that we do comes back to our agents. So we elevate them as the brand, right? And
And
then
first is like
that's
been
important.
around for what, 20 years, right? You guys have been around for a
Over,
long time.
no, like over 50.
50
Yeah.
years. Okay. So think about that. Like, you guys just launched this campaign. It's a
Yeah.
marketing story about the first team, about the women in your guys' company, just let's say last year.
Yeah.
And it's like very innovative after a 50-year-old company to then highlight the women in your company, the leaders, the women leaders in your company.
Yeah.
And to me, your brokerage could mean a lot of things. It could mean luxury, it could mean
Hmm.
uh, modern. You guys have a beautiful modern brand, but you guys decided to build an asset or a storyline in the company about the women in your company. And I just thought that was so unique because you're thinking about the different ways that you can position your brokerage and different stories you can tell that add to the brand. And I want to I want that for everyone listening in to be thinking about that for yourself and your company. What are the key elements of your brokerage that you guys are really proud of that you're offering your agents, and how are you going to tell, how do you actually brand it and tell a story around it to make yourself different than the other brokerages in your town and in your community? And Lauren really did that well with that women's empowerment campaign. Okay, one more. Let's talk about. Actually, I have one that you mentioned that I really like, which
Yeah.
is how you guys sit down with each, like a lot of your top producers, and you actually help them create their brand story. You actually help
Mhm.
agents create their position in the market, help them actually create their brand. You do a full campaign just for the agents, and like especially the top agents you're recruiting and working with. Let's hear a
Mhm.
little bit about that because again, that actually takes probably a lot of skill. Maybe not all marketing departments have like a marketing
Yeah.
strategist that can help an agent at this level. But let's
Yeah.
hear about it because maybe it'll inspire the rest of the marketing teams to want to do something like this as well.
Yeah, and I would say like something unique about our marketing team is like we have over 75 years of experience coming from global brands, including real estate, including luxury, including, top consumer brands as well. So we've all been, a lot of us have come from agency or real estate, on both sides. So having that strategic view, because our goal at the end of the day is to drive business value, right? Is to drive revenue for the agents. That is our ultimate goal. So what we do typically is we will sit down, we will understand, do more of what it is an audit. And this can be in combination with obviously executive leadership, managers, recruitment, as well as Michelle and myself. But we'll sit down and understand what are their growth goals? Where are they currently, and it's a full audit. Where do they currently want to be in terms of revenue? Where do they want to be in terms of team growth? Are they on a path to leadership? What are their marketing goals and so forth? And so it's a deep audit in terms of a business review, right? Then once we do that from a marketing perspective, I'm looking at what is their ideal customer profile, very much a marketing standpoint, like, and what are their competitors doing and how are they speaking to that unique customer profile that they're trying to attract, right? So I will look at, basically do an audit of their competitors on social media, how they're positioning themselves, what is their unique selling proposition, everything, and then map it against them. And our team members are fantastic at doing this. Um, and then everybody comes back and it's so funny because everybody's like, I have white glove service. I'm like, so does everybody else. That is not a unique value proposition. Like, what is your niche? Do you specialize in, divorcees that have a certain amount of money? I mean, there's all different kinds, but you know what I mean. And basically, what we come back with is this framework that they have on their budget, based on their budget. These are what the three-tiered plan that we would recommend on how to invest in your business from a marketing standpoint to get you to where you want to be, from an overall growth. So then what we do is we basically batch it off and say, okay, let's start these three things first. And then we meet with you on a regular basis and see what's working and what's not working, and then reallocate where necessary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like legit marketing services, like as for it's
Yeah.
practically like a marketing director doing a lot of the core things that an agent needs to develop their niche, their audience, who they're going after. This is all like marketing 101, like you said.
Yeah.
Any advice for the audience who may not have as much experience doing that kind of marketing services for an agent's, on where to start? Because it seems like I think you have a lot of background working at an agency, working with a
Yeah.
lot of big luxury brands before you're at First Team. So it may come easier for you because of the agency background you have. But for
Yeah.
someone who may be in you know started as a graphic designer and now they just are providing a lot of services for their agents, what would you recommend that they can get into, or even books they can read, resources they can check out?
Yeah. So, like, the first thing that I would do, honestly, is take that agent's name, or if you're an agent, and put yourself into chat, put them in Chat GPT and see what comes back. So, for example, put their name as such and such agent, right? If they want to be, what comes back in terms of news? What comes back? Are they like, if they want to be a luxury realtor, right? Are they coming back as a luxury realtor in Newport Beach, for example? What does that come back? And then the biggest thing that they can do is help them create content that positions them as who they want to be. So the number one thing that I say from a branding standpoint is going on your website, adding FAQs that are obviously found by voice, Siri, Alexa, everything like that. So you do come up in search now. That is a very, very easy way to brand. And I think it's being authentic. I think what the biggest thing that agents can do is act as advisors. You need to be a true advisor to your clients. So pick a certain niche that you're passionate about and create content regarding it, um, and batch out your content. Like, there are days that I spend, 2 hours a week, but all that is repurposing and doing content that is going to, help me grow. And by the way, don't be afraid to test stuff. Not everything's going to land. So just bits and pieces, but I would say definitely the content perspective is number one.
Nice. Are you actually creating some of the assets for the agents when you're doing these campaigns, or are you kind of just advising them and then they usually will go back and rework their bios and their social graphics and little
Yeah,
mark?
no, for some of these things, like especially like in terms of, taglines or positionings, we'll make those recommendations for them, right? In terms of collateral, we're creating that collateral material for them to best represent who they are, because everything has to be banded together. Obviously it starts from the logo, but your brand, what people need to think about as agents is your brand is the sum total of experiences one has from with you. So that's everything from you answering your phone to what your website looks like to everything else in between, right? Social media and everything like that. So just make sure that all those things are interconnected.
Mm, Okay, and when you're working with the agents on
Yeah.
these type of marketing and branding campaigns, is it like a time you give them, like, let's say a month's worth of meetings, or 4 weeks, 4 meetings before you like let them go and they can go on and continue to do it on their own? Or how often are you checking in with them? Because it's a lot. I think you guys have more than
Yeah,
2,000
it's a
people.
lot. It depends. Obviously, it depends on the agent, but like, and also we do, listing if they have, huge, we do listing marketing for them as well, right? In terms of how to really position that listing if it's a luxury listing. But it depends on the agent. Most of the time, we're checking in with them monthly, right? In terms of what's going on and how's it working. I mean, you need a little bit of like 90 days to test some of these things and see if it's actually going to work, from the social media ads and everything like that. Like, we need to see what's working and what's resonating from a brand messaging standpoint. But normally it's, monthly in terms of that, of what's going on with some of these agents. And some already have a brand, to be perfectly honest. Some just want to refine and go into a new niche or a new city. So some of them already have that. We're just taking it to the next level.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. And you guys just went through a rebrand as well. I think that was about a year ago where you guys
Mhm.
started working on a new brand. And it's really smart, right? With the 50-year-old brokerage,
Yeah.
refreshing the company every 3 to 5 years to make it
Yeah.
feel modern and live and living and fresh every few years is really important. I know you guys launched a new brand, a new website. You guys have your campaign around behind the agent, your women's in leadership campaign. So as you're building all of these amazing assets for the company, what tools are you guys using to allow the agents to take advantage of the first team brand and your guys' campaigns, and really just what tools are you guys using just to help manage the marketing for 2000 plus agents?
Well, I think you know this one well. We're using Maxa, of course, because that needs
This
to
was
happen.
total point for me, but we can totally say other things too.
We could say other things too. No, I think it's a couple of things. I mean, all assets are put in there from like a social media standpoint. So we have social media assets that are there. We also have content suite, which I think which is the easiest thing for agents to use. So it is on a thought leadership content basis. So it's monthly, but basically they get a postcard, a newsletter, and a social media post that they can instantly send to their sphere of influence. So all they have to do is they can go in and download it, right? Or subscribe and have it delivered to their inbox. I think
So let's
that,
make so just to be clear, you guys are
yeah,
creating, like, let's say monthly or quarterly thought leadership pieces around
yeah,
that. It's kind of like your campaigns from the brokerage. Then you guys take it and you host it in the Maxa Designs platform
yep,
where the agents can access these campaigns, smart templates
yep,
around these thought leadership pieces. They
yep,
can download it with their content, their headshot, their personal brand using our templating and content management system. And then they go in and they publish it, print it, export it, whatever they want with the system. That's one way you guys are using it, because now you essentially you have a asset manager, which is
yeah,
definitely what Maxa is, to distribute the content, maybe manage for compliance so they don't go and mess it all up. But the agents can still edit it if they need to, if they
yeah.
want to
And
change the
that one's
photos.
easy because like with that one, we don't like, it's not crazy editing because it's written by one of my team members or me. That content is. So it's the great part about it is it is very high level information. So there's a lot of stats in it. You know what I'm saying? So what that's meant to use for is for the agents to be able to send it to their sphere, to mail it, to do whatever, to position themselves as that thought expert that I talked about, right? So it's easy for them. They don't have to think about it. So that's the really cool part. It's
Yeah,
plug
and
and
thinking about being efficient, you know, taking the time to create ongoing thought leadership content for the
yeah,
agent, that takes a lot of time. And I know prior to Maxa, you guys were also providing premium listing marketing packages that you guys had a store where agents could order, the Sapphire package, the Gold package for their listings. And a lot of that was done manually, where the agents would order a package for their listings. You would get the order, your marketing team would then start to produce all the assets for that listing and go back and forth with the agents. And now I know you guys use Max's automated listing marketing package where you
mhm,
designed all these different premium packages. The agents could choose their favorite package. Then the Maxa system would auto create those packages based on the default designs you guys had set up, which
yep.
led to you not having to do it anymore manually because the system would just do it for the agent.
Not as much. Yeah, 100%. And I think the interesting thing was the way that we customized it, right? Because we had to integrate with ads, right? Which was new because it was not only you have the e-commerce store, but you have to integrate it with digital brand ads as well as digital listing ads to be part of this, bundle package. And so integrating all of that was a unique ability to do that, right? And streamline that, which I think is important because agents want to close more sales in less time. I mean, that's what they want to do, right? So, how do we optimize things? So, you can optimize it against around 2,300 agents versus like only a few agents, right? And being efficient because a lot of times sometimes they're like, oh wait, I have this listing and I didn't, it just comes up, or they have to go on a listing presentation or something like that. And so to have those already in there where the fields are the ones that they are able to adapt are easily editable versus, locking brand standards, of course. But being able to do that, I think, is very important and giving them the flexibility to have that opportunity to execute it.
Yeah, I remember there was this moment during the onboarding process where we were still getting used to the idea that the marketing team wouldn't be touching at all creating any of the assets for the listings. And it was almost like a hard transition for the rest of the marketing team because they're like, wait, what? I'm not doing it for the agent anymore. The software, the platform's going to do it for them. And
Yeah,
there was a lot of many decisions we had to make to like really create this streamlined system where I know your marketing directors and your designers were like, oh wow, like I really don't have to do anything. I just wait
yeah.
for the
Well, yeah, and it's so funny because you still have agents that are going to want to order it and not do it themselves, right? And we allow that option as well. So if they do want to order it and our design team will go in and content swap it, then that's fine. And sometimes they'll pay like, but you also have like, a design fee, right? For the designer time. But I think those are where you still get the custom request, but what has been good is we've gotten less of those, um, because I think it's putting the power in the hands of the agent so they can decide what they want to do. Do they want to do it in 5 minutes and move on? Or do they want to pay somebody to do it? And you can, it's just going to take a little bit longer, right? And that's fine. But we're putting the power in the hands of the agent so they can choose what route they want to choose while improving efficiency, NPS, and CSAT scores, right? And overall adoption, which is huge. So I think that's a big part of it.
Let's talk about those stats again. I don't hear that being measured very often.
Yeah.
Let's educate everyone on what stats you guys are measuring, and then how is that working?
Yeah. So when I look at like overall agents in terms of them making any request, or when we look at any requests that come through that store, which go into Maxa, right? Like anything that is purchased or in there, they get a survey at the end, which basically means how likely are you to recommend marketing? So NPS is very much, a customer satisfaction score, net promoter score. So I look at that and I obviously want it to be over 80%, right? And it has been that, which is great. So I look at that and I also want to hear feedback of what is the utilization from agents? What are things from a customer UX UI, like user experience, that is working, is not working, right? So when you're building something like this, you have to think in the minds of the agent. So you have to go through and build each step out in terms of the platform and what they want and what they're going to do, which is unique because some people, like you and I both know, some people are just like, oh, you got to do it out of the box. And I think you and I realized we couldn't do it that way right off the bat. So we really had to customize everything, which was really cool.
Amazing. Okay, one last question before Jim takes over.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you would advise a CMO or an executive that's listening in, who's considering leading a digital transformation around their brokerage, their brand, what would you say is that one thing that's really important?
Can I say six things? Because I think there's six.
Okay,
If
let's
you're
hear it.
thinking about that, because I think it's really, really critical. And if you don't have six, you're not going to last in it. But one is like clarity of vision and business alignment. So why is the transformation necessary in the first place? You guys all got to be aligned on what that is. Number two is culture and change management. So when you're leading a transformation, it is as much about people as it is about tech, right? So you really have to create champions to drive adoption for any platform that you launch. Number three is having a customer centric mindset. So put the needs of the customer first. Four is technology is an enabler. It's not a goal, but it's not going to solve all your problems if you don't have the right infrastructure to support it. Number five is leadership and governance. Do you have the people, are the people behind the brand leading the charge? And then I think six is measurement and agility. So are you really looking at the adoption rates in terms of the impact on revenue and the impact of your overall customer satisfaction in terms of the agent? You have to be able to measure what you execute. Those are
Wow.
my
I just got
Wow, is
tingles.
right. Wow,
That's
is
so
right.
good.
thanks, my friend.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that
everyone
was
listening in, if you guys want to dive deeper into this and like understand some of the things that Lauren's saying, I don't want to take her time. We could take my time. You guys can email me and we could go through all six of those pieces and see how you
Yeah,
can deploy it in your own company. So I'll
yeah.
help you
We
guys
can
with
chat
that.
further on on
yeah.
on this and take them through it. Yep.
Reach out to James. James, throw your email really quick out there. What is it
It's
for anybody who wants?
James at maxadesigns.com.
Perfect, perfect. That was great, guys. I mean, it was very thorough back and forth on how you guys work together, and I think that shows the successes of MAXA Design with our member brokerages. And anybody out there, we'll give you a few minutes to throw some questions in the Q&A right now. And oh, that was quick. We got one already. uh, this one's first to James. James, so there, someone is asking, when you have the opportunity to meet with a marketing department of a brokerage, whether it be leading RE member or anybody, do you go in there with, or do they ask you for kind of like an assessment of what's going on, what they're doing now, and you can go, well, yes, we can do this better, or yes, you don't need to do that. Is that your plan when you get in there to start talking on the initial introduction?
Yeah, sometimes it depends. I never want to solicit my advice, so I won't just jump in and be like, "Oh, well, you need to do it like this better."
Right.
But if they ask and they're like, "So I have a client, um, it's kind of interesting. They have 25,000 agents. They've never launched a luxury division in their company, and they brought me in to their big mastermind with 200 leaders, and they said, James, how can we work on building a luxury brand to launch to the world? And so I spent the time to really go through an exercise with them to define how this luxury brand will be received, how the story, the positioning. So then I'll get involved um, a lot. And sometimes we have clients that are like, hey, we want to launch a community magazine. What have you seen in the industry that could work? What type of content and what kind of themes have you seen work for magazines? And then I'll get involved. Or a lot of times I get requests on what tech stacks do I see very common, between different tools. Like Lauren has integrated us with two or three of her other platforms and
Yep.
tools that she uses. So it depends. I love to get involved as much as they need me to, because we have surveyed and worked with a lot of other clients and seen what is trending and what's working. But it's always up to the client how much they want to involve me and my team.
Well, whatever it is you're doing, it works because Lauren and First Team is definitely a proof of that. And you can tell by Lauren's enthusiasm in answering all those questions or scenarios that comes from the heart. She's really loving what you guys done for them, and which is amazing. That said, Lauren, someone asked, so your storytelling that you did with the agents, uh,
Yep.
how do you, and we all know why we're asking this question. How do you know who to pick, or who do you choose? I mean, you can't do everybody. I mean,
You can't do
what is
anything.
your, yeah, what is your guidelines? Let's put it that way.
I think it's people who embrace the first team values of growth, right? So you're finding your ICP, right? What's your ideal customer profile? And you're normally going to have anywhere from 5 to 6 of those, right? And those are people at different stages of their career. So what I look for is, are they a leader? Are they innovative? Are they authentic? Are they tech savvy? And is it something that I can build a true partnership with them? right? In terms of taking, in addition to not only making them an ambassador, but elevating their career to the next level of whatever that may be. So I think based off the people that we chose, you see that we have people across different life stages of their real estate career, which is very, very powerful. But every single person is authentic, has a very high level of integrity, and is innovative. And I think that's really, really important that you put people that represent the brand and the corporate values um, first.
Yeah. Well, that leads into this question because somebody was saying that they love the fact, because that's who we are, that
Yeah.
you alluded to the independence of the brokerage,
Yeah.
and that's slid into the Women in Real Estate campaign that you had.
Yeah.
That all together, did you see any type of change or return or ROI on what you did after that campaign?
I mean, the fact that we launched it, we hit our, we exceeded our $1 billion in new market share and then our $1 billion in recruitment value, in 10 months was insane, right? And I think that's a testament to it. I think our being able to have the national expansion that we launched is a testament to what we're doing. Um, and I think also, having happy agents and, the best form of marketing is word of mouth, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's the best form of marketing. So I think as long as we put ourselves where we're behind the agent is the core metric of everything that we do, I think the rest takes care of itself.
Right. Well, I think this last thing is coming from me. I just can't remember anybody taking over an airport with digital marketing like you did. So that was pretty amazing. And I know John Wayne Airport, and I bet
Yeah,
you it was just absolutely beautiful all over the place,
so much
right?
fun.
Oh, that's
So
so
much
cool.
fun.
That's so cool. But I want to thank you both. Anybody needs to reach out to James, you got there. Of course, Lauren, leading our members, you guys all have your contact information. But thank you again. You guys were great, and I really appreciate you in this session. And uh, have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Bye,
Lauren,
guys.
you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, James. You as well.
Bye bye.